Last time, the President ordered an all-out attack on Dr. Eggman's island base.
It'll be a two-pronged assault from both sea and air.
Rouge the Bat, now working for the government, was put in charge of a special forces team to sabotage Eggman's base from inside. Meanwhile, Chris and Tails discovered the location of the third Chaos Emerald, but their plan to unearth it was gone with the wind. Can our heroes hang on and capture the Chaos Emerald, or will Eggman and his windy robot blow them away? Sonic X. Dr. Eggman sent a strange new robot named Lucky to search for the last Chaos Emerald. Meanwhile, Knuckles decided that the only way to get back home was to convince the others to join up with Dr. Eggman, get all 7 emeralds together, and create Chaos Control. Eggman pretended to agree to the plan and fooled Knuckles and Chris into handing over all of their Chaos Emeralds, and then escaped with Chris held hostage. Can Sonic make it in time to get back the Chaos Emeralds and save his friend? Stay tuned! Last time on Sonic X, after tricking Knuckles into giving him the 6 Chaos Emeralds, Dr. Eggman kidnapped Chris, holding him hostage on the Egg Fort 2. Soon, Dr. Eggman's robot Lucky returned with the 7th Emerald, but just as Eggman was about to grab it, Sonic showed up to thwart his plan. Determined to get the last emerald, Eggman transformed the Egg Fort 2 into the Eggsterminator, a gargantuan superbot powered by the Chaos Emeralds. The Eggsterminator captured Sonic, but Chris broke free and grabbed the emeralds, only to find himself rescued by Rouge the Bat. But things got slippery and Rouge dropped the emeralds into the sea. All 7 emeralds came together, and it was Chaos Control time. Were Sonic and his friends sent back home to their planet? Are Tails and Chuck with them? Or did something even more unbelievable happen? There's only one way to find out. Stay tuned! Last time on Sonic X, Sonic and Tails discovered another emerald, but it was soon devoured by Dr. Eggman's Chaos Creature. A fierce battle followed, and the X-Tornado went down in flames. But thanks to Tails' expert piloting skills, our battered heroes survived to fight on. Unfortunately, Eggman wasn't finished making mischief as he seized Amy and her new friend Lily. For once, Sonic arrived too late. Now his speed isn't enough. This time he'll have to think fast if he's going to catch up with Eggman. Last time on Sonic X, after a high-flying battle, Tails transformed the X-Tornado into battle armor mode and headed straight for the egg carrier with Sonic and Knuckles in tow to rescue Amy from the clutches of Eggman.
Hang on! Almost there?
Let's bring it in for a nice smooth landing, Tails.
Oh no!
What is it?
You'll have to settle for nice and bumpy. We don't have any wheels.
What? Last time on Sonic X, our heroes crash-landed on the egg carrier to search for Amy and the rest of the Master Emerald. Eggman caught Amy and snatched a Chaos Emerald away from her feathered friend Lily. Meanwhile, Chris and Big rescued Froggy, only to find themselves in the clutches of the Chaos Creature. But Sonic and Knuckles showed up, and they were de-slimed in no time. Eggman dropped a ticking time bomb into the middle of Station Square, but Tails used his technical know-how to save the day. What's next? Find out now on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, the Chaos Creature devoured the 7th Chaos Emerald and transformed into a mammoth monster. A tidal wave of fear flooded Station Square as the city became a watery wreck. A horde of helicopters couldn't topple the towering terror, and even Eggman was sent scrambling by the belligerent behemoth. But with the help of his friends and the power of the Chaos Emeralds, Super Sonic socked it to him. Will Station Square recover from the disastrous deluge, or is the city all washed up? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, a case of mistaken identity set our speedy hero on the run. His trouble doubled when a robber ripped off an emerald, and camera showed a hedgehog making the heist. As the Project Shadow investigation continued, Sonic made a shocking discovery. Sonic and Shadow went head-to-head in a brutal battle with a chaotic finish. Trapped by government forces, Sonic surrendered and was taken to Prison Island. Will his friends find a way to free him? Or will Sonic be locked away forever? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, Sonic was locked up on Prison Island in a high-tech, totally escape-proof jail. But luckily his friends were able to stage a robot-busting rescue. Meanwhile, Dr. Eggman and his gang staged their own jailbreak, a break-in. Their goal? To steal Chaos Emeralds and power up Eggman's ultimate weapon. With the island on the verge of destruction, Sonic challenged the mysterious Shadow to a showdown. Our heroes made an explosive escape, but what about those left behind? Could anyone survive that blazing blast? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, Shadow transported Chris to Eggman's space base, where Chris learned about a secret orbiting colony built by Eggman's grandfather, the brilliant Professor Gerald Robotnik. Eggman unveiled the Eclipse Cannon, his ultimate weapon, and warned that he'd use it unless the entire population surrendered to the Eggman Empire. What are Shadow's mysterious motives? Can Chris's friends find and rescue him? Will Eggman use the Eclipse Cannon and destroy the whole planet? Find out next on Sonic X. This time on Sonic X, Chris was trapped on Space Colony Ark, but Sonic rocketed to his rescue. Soon, Eggman ambushed the hapless hedgehog and gave our hero the heave-ho. The devious Doc issued an ultimatum. If he wasn't made supreme ruler, he'd pulverize the planet. But when Eggman fired up the Eclipse Cannon, he got a blast from the past. A recording from his grandfather, Professor Robotnik, revealed that he had his own plan to wipe out the world. Can Sonic save the globe from destruction, or will Robotnik wreak his revenge? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, as our friends planned to greet the New Year sunrise, they were totally shocked by a total eclipse. Soon, Dr. Eggman shed light on the mystery. The malfunctioning Egg Moon was causing the super sunblock. He begged the president to let him lighten things up, and he built giant mirror towers to power his specially designed sunshine balls. But just as Eggman was being hailed as a hero, someone started toppling the towers. That someone was Sonic, and now the citizens are dead set on stopping him. Has Sonic gone screwy? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, while locked up in jail, Dr. Eggman worked overtime to set a treacherous trap for Sonic and friends. Hordes of household appliances soon developed menacing malfunctions, turning Chris's kitchen into a combat zone. As a vacuum robot threatened to clean Sonic's clock, ML spun to the rescue and a whole gang of gadgets were washed out. Sonic raced to rout the remaining robots, but he and Knuckles were ambushed by mobs of mechanical marauders. Our heroes seemed headed for a crushing defeat till Chris's family helped turn the tide. Taking advantage of the confusion, Eggman escaped from jail and went into hiding to plot his next monstrous move. Can the devious doctor be stopped before he strikes again? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, as part of a plan to capture Dr. Eggman, the president created a combat contest with a gem of a prize, a Chaos Emerald. As the battling began, the commander-in-chief got clobbered by a knight, and the other competitors duked it out in a series of kooky clashes. The odds-on favorite was Sonic, till he found out he had to face off against Amy. But the uncomfortable confrontation was avoided when Eggman butted into the battle. Now it's down to the final 8 fighters. Who will prevail and pick up the emerald? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, a research vessel vanished at sea, leading to a maritime mystery. While Dr. Eggman's wrapped-up robot sprang a trap to steal a map, the ancient chart pointed the way to the legendary continent of Maracia, and our heroes set sail for the last remnant of that lost land, a volcanic island. When they found themselves attacked by Dr. Eggman, government agents roared to the rescue, but the devious Doc made his escape, and he hatched a scary scheme to liquidate the world with lava. Can Sonic stop Eggman before he causes a global eruption? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, Chris learned that his world and Sonic's were once one, but since the planet started to recombine, time itself is screeching to a halt. The only way to unstop the clock is to cause chaos control and send Sonic and his friends back to their world. Suspecting a trick, Chris confronted Dr. Eggman and was shocked to discover that the time freeze fiasco was real. Now Tails and Chuck are working overtime to build a machine that can send our heroes home. Can they conquer the secrets of chaos control before time runs out? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, Chris had a strange dream and was shocked when a familiar figure emerged from the shadows of his past. On Dr. Eggman's ship, Rouge made a grab for the Chaos Emerald, but got caught red-handed. To her surprise, she learned that Dr. Eggman had an even more valuable treasure locked away in a capsule. Meanwhile, the Blue Typhoon landed on a barren and mysterious planet. As Sonic and friends explored the ancient ruins of a long-lost alien race, they were ambushed by the Metarex. To our heroes' horror, their trip quickly turned into a nightmarish battle for survival. Not even the firepower of the Blue Typhoon could overcome this fantastic foe. Just when all appeared lost, Sonic and company got a blast from the past as Shadow the Hedgehog suddenly came to their rescue. Before they could thank him, however, he snatched up their Chaos Emeralds and vanished. Now the crew of the Blue Typhoon are struggling to understand their shocking encounter with Shadow. Where will Shadow show up next? Has he returned to fight beside Sonic or against him? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, Eggman discovered 2 more Chaos Emeralds hidden aboard a high-security Metarex fortress. When the doctor suggests that Sonic and the gang team up with him to see who can snatch the emeralds first, Sonic jumps at the chance. Soon, with the help of Rouge and Shadow, Chris breaks into the Metarex complex, and after a bit of digital detective work, shuts down the security system. But when Sonic and the others burst in for a little emerald espionage, they're greeted by a mob of Metarex with one thing on their minds: total destruction. Find out what happens next on this week's Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, a fleet of Metarex led by Dr. Eggman sent Sonic and friends into ship shock. Our heroes battled bravely but were quickly outnumbered by their fearsome foes. Sonic rushed to counterattack when Eggman activated the ultimate speed trap, an energy barrier that Sonic couldn't crack. With the end at hand, Tails came up with a perilous plan, and thanks to the power of the Master Emerald, our heroes foiled the enemy fleet and escaped. But with the rest of the Metarex closing in, can Sonic and friends survive another siege? Or have they only delayed their doom? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, our heroes made a crash landing on a peculiar planet, where they learned a shocking secret. Not only was it Cosmo's home world, it was also the birthplace of the Metarex. Devastated by this discovery, Cosmo was about to flee when Bokoon suddenly broke in with an emergency message from Dr. Eggman. It appeared the Metarex were meeting to carry out their final mission, which would end in a cosmic catastrophe. Now with time running out, Sonic and friends must rush to rescue the galaxy. Will they finally finish off the Metarex, or are they destined to go down in defeat? Find out next on Sonic X. Last time on Sonic X, Eggman contacted Sonic and the gang with the news that the Metarex were on the move toward galactic coordinate 000, where something majorly mysterious was about to happen. The team launched a counterattack, but the mighty Metarex proved themselves indestructible. In the meantime, Shadow and the Chaotix crew crashed the Metarex mothership in the hopes of destroying Dark Oak and his creepy cohorts, while Chris went on a mission to free Eggman. But little did our friends know of the extraordinary occurrence that was about to take place, a catastrophic collision of space and time not seen for 1,000 years. It was time for the final transformation, a strange and momentous event that would alter the galaxy forever. Would Sonic save the day, or get lost in a watery wasteland never to return? Stay tuned. Last time on Sonic X, in a last-ditch effort to save the galaxy, Sonic and company decided to use the mighty Master Emerald to attack the Metarex. The giant gem was shattered, but Sonic sped through space and the blast created an opening for our heroes. Just as Sonic rushed to confront Dark Oak, he found himself in a sticky situation. Amy quickly flew in to free him, but was also trapped. Now as Dark Oak begins his final transformation, Sonic must find a way to win against the odds. Can he and his friends rally to stop the Metarex in their maniacal mission? Find out next on Sonic X! Last time on Sonic X, when plants began taking over planets, it seemed the Metarex were on the verge of victory. But the table soon turned when the power of the Planet Egg came to the aid of Sonic and his friends. With his scheme for cosmic conquest at an end, Dark Oak made a last-ditch move to destroy the galaxy, squeezing the Planet Egg in a gravity field in order to cause an enormous explosion. Sonic and Shadow launched an attack on the fearsome field, but were powerless to punch through. With time running out, Cosmo got a message from her mother saying she was the only hope to stop the Metarex. Shadow and Sonic watched in wonder as Cosmo passed through the gravity field to defy Dark Oak. But her plan had a price. To deliver the galaxy from destruction, Tails had to fire the power cannon at the field, and at Cosmo. Tails refused, until Cosmo explained the blast would help the seeds of her clan spread across space. With one shot at saving the galaxy, did Tails hit his mark? And what became of Cosmo? Find out next on Sonic X!